matter I want to speak on today is a very serious matter. The unholy woman and the barren woman's place with God. Unveiling children born of both. If you may care to know, the eye of God is upon women. The status of a society depended on the life that women show to God. And if women show unholiness to the Lord, God of heaven, God withdraw for that society. Because the sanctity of any society is behavior of women. The place of a woman with God is her womb. Womb is the woman. Take note of that. I repeat, womb is the woman. And women should keep their lives holy, because the womb of a devout woman is God's source of raising sanctified generations. Adam was made for sanctified generation. When Eve was brought to Adam, the vision was that a generation will be raised. So Eve became the mother of all that dwell upon the face of the earth. And if Eve had understood what is called holiness, he would not have taken fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. God does not want a generation where unholiness is what the woman display to the visual of God himself. Womb is the woman, as I said. And we end up seeing that Cain and Abel, two species that represent the good and the evil. That is to say, the result was bettered. We saw good in Abel, we saw evil in Cain. From the beginning of creation of man, God tied the woman, Eve, the wife of Adam, to the serpent in a tangle. In Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. He shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. God was addressing the serpent called the devil, also known as Satan. What does this really reveal? When a woman, whether married or not, is devoted to God, her womb is a devout womb for God's use. When I say devout womb, meaning sanctified womb for God's use. I am not talking about a church-going woman. I mean a devout woman, a pious woman who keeps her body far from worldliness. When I say worldliness, you actually know what I mean. I must let you know this truth, whether acceptable to you or not. An unholy woman has got her womb abused in God's sight. The serpent makes use of her womb to breed his own seed. And the devil's seed are the shame of a woman. What do I mean? God is far from a woman and the devil is with her. When the woman becomes unholy, to engage with an unholy man in her life, that is like the deep, call it the deep. Such generation is going to be very, very terrible among men. Don't attack me. I am just telling you the truth. You may not like what you want to hear, but it is exactly like that. So don't attack me. I'm just telling you what it is in the spiritual and physical. The way of the living is a mystery from the beginning of the creation of this world. Listen very well. Children born of a holy woman and children born of a barren woman have its divides with God. What do I mean? Take note of what I'm going to tell you. A woman's womb is either a ministry of holiness or unholiness. Because you are the mother of the world. Luke chapter 1 verse 30 to 31. We will see an encounter between God and Mary. And the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. And behold, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bring forth a son, and shalt call his name Jesus. Where is the woman in Mary? The womb. So you must understand the place of a woman in the sight of God. If women know their place with God, they will keep their bodies holy to born sanctified children. I beg you, make sure that the children you born with your womb are tamed to understand what is called devotion unto our God. The women are the mothers of what? Next generation. So if the woman is defiled and unholy, and God does not walk with her, then the world will walk with her. And when she carelessly brings forth children and does not nurse those children to be devout children, that family is accursed. Proverbs 29 verse 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Who is the target of every failing child? The mother. Who received the shame? The mother. Why? The Lord wants that woman to understand that your womb must be kept holy, so that the children you also breed in that womb will study what holiness is even before they come to life. Ensure that you guide them to become children that can be seen as devoted to the Lord in heaven. Let me remind you again, oh woman, your womb is accursed. Where your children come from, when you are unholy, Satan doesn't let them alone. So I say to all children that on your own you can run to God. Who is going to give birth to the seed of the serpent? The serpent will never bear a child. It is the same Eve that will bear a child, watch the child to know God, or carelessly leave the child to understand evil. So the one that understands evil, Satan has collected him. And the one that knows God, to whom does he belong? He belongs to God. So the children that are born, the children must hear me. They should run to God. Hell is real for a child born from unholy womb. God will receive you. That is why the everyday call, be born again. So be born again is coming from knowing the status of a society, most especially when women can hardly keep themselves holy like Mary. Yes, hardly women keep themselves holy like Mary. But somehow, barren womb drags a woman to holiness. If she be wise and care to mother sanctify children. If I may remind you something, from which womb Cain came from? The womb of Eve. From which womb Abel came from? The womb of the woman. That represents the thing that the woman, out of unholy behavior, went to eat of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. Then, as he brought forth children, God allow her, if you may care, to see that what she has made herself to become has become her womb that brought forth either a good person or a wrong person. The knowledge of good and evil. So we are talking about unholy woman and barren woman. That of a holy woman, let's leave that for Mary. That may God believe that your holiness is unto him and your children are sanctified. Look at many families where a woman lives an holy life, discipline. The woman watch her children and they never bring shame to her. But when an unholy woman gives birth to children, because of her mischief and her behavior, he allowed the same spirit to pass through the womb and feed the children from the womb. And from the day the child may be born, stubbornness have started. Attitude have started. You may not see it, but I am showing it to you. Every condition and status of a society is the woman. If God of heaven watch over a society, he watch over the attitude of women because of their womb. There is no woman but the womb. So all the rest that women give their body to do is what God will measure and look at you. Because what you are is what you will bring forth. So what does Holy Bible reveal of children born from barren wombs? Let's look at Isaac, the covenant seed of promise. We will see Samuel, the first prophet of Israel, who anointed and led kings. Then we look at John, the voice that prepared the way for Christ. When you look at Joseph, we call him the preserver who fed nations and kept Israel safe in famine. Genesis chapter 45 verse 5. Before I start speaking about them, they all came from barren womb. Don't ask me why is it so. Because woman has lost the mystery of the living. Women have lost the knowledge of holiness. Woman does not understand the world is not without them. And they do not also understand the battle set between Eve and the serpent. The seed of the woman is the children that the woman tamed very well unto holiness. And they know God and they are devout. The one that is unto the devil is the one that carelessly came out of the womb that is also careless about holiness. Satan has got his own seed. Look inward. Satan does not have a wife. Look inward. You will understand the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman is coming from one womb. The womb of a woman. Why does God focus on barren womb for use? Another question. It requires a specific devotion from the woman with a womb he wants to bet his purpose through. No womb is exempted, but devotion of woman is requirement. All womb is able to bear children, but not all womb is sanctified for sanctified children. When a woman is in holiness, then the womb has been dedicated to holiness. So when God is looking for anyone of a purpose for him, he will look for a devout barren womb to carry out his purpose on earth. What do I mean by devout barren womb? Like I mentioned to you, barrenness drag women to devotion. Hardly you see a woman barren does not consider to search for a deity that will help her womb. One thing you must not forget, Satan does the same too. As God is looking for a sanctified womb, Satan is looking for an unholy womb. The spirit in a woman is either harnessed by God or by Satan. When I say by Satan, it means the woman has exposed herself to the world without the sense of holiness. The contest is for the seed of the woman. The seed of the woman that will bruise the head of the serpent. And the seed of the serpent that will bruise the heel of a woman. Now it be the suffering and shame that a mother, the mother benefited when children are wayward and they are working for the devil. Because of unholy ways of women, the world is filled with unholy characters. Unholiness of women results to betting a society with absence of God-fearing children. The position of women standards in every society set the society as for whether children are available for God or for Satan. The seed of the woman bruising the head of Satan, or her same seed becomes the seed of the serpent to bruise her heel, which is the shame she carried. But it is not ordinarily being said and preached. Because if the mystery is not given to you, you shall not know what I am talking about. If a holy woman produced children, they bruise the head of Satan. And if unholy women produce children, they become Satan's seed to the shame of their mothers. When a child is a bad one, they go point finger to the mother. But you wouldn't understand why fingers are pointed to mothers when children are terrible on the street. It is because they cannot realize their place with God. Like I said, with all that you do with your body as a woman, it is a signal that resides in the womb of a woman. You deposit your behavior in your womb. And when your womb carries children, that you have bastard or you have stubborn children on the street, they have no fear of God. It is not just a mystery, but reality. Cain and Abel, as I mentioned earlier, are sufficient for a woman to know the cry of Eve when Abel was killed by Cain. One is in the right order, the other is in the evil order. For that thing she tested in the garden, which is now a genetic spirit in every woman, and even the man. So, women, I will appeal to you, please save our societies. Return to holy lifestyle. Oh woman, I must announce to you, a society that allows you to breathe your life in an unholy way is a society that is seeking for problem of the generation. We all know what is happening to this nation now. Why? Because of the exposure of women to unholy lifestyle. Then we don't have children that have the fear of God. When the woman's spirit is wayward, her seed are wayward also. And yet the society suffer the degradation. We need devout women to examine themselves in this wise. Why do I need you to watch yourself? You have your children. If you don't tame them to know God, they are mixed up with the people in the society. Children born of unholy women. Their characters will be spread among them. Then let me now say, the apostles that were cautioning women to maintain holiness were not in error. The Holy Bible weighs a woman in 1 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 6. A devout woman. As a woman whose adorning, let it not be that humongous outwards adorning of plaiting the hair like Jezebel, or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God great price. For after this manner in the old time the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves. Do you see what it takes for monitoring the women? That in them should not be found the corruptible character. You may look at yourself and proudly say as a woman, even if I do like this and I wear this and I look like a Jezebel on the street and in the church and in the society, I go naked on the street, it doesn't matter. Now your eye, you think they look me, it's not your problem. But that is not the eye that God uses to look at women, because they are the place where generations are raised. You are not the first which started devotion, and will not be the last. Don't let us use fashion and become error in the sight of God. Promiscuity in the society is the reason of much sin in the society. The unholiness lifestyle of women is the genetic reason for the war you see to have mixed characters, both holy character and unholy characters. That woman might feel incorruptible as she claims, but how many are you corrupting matters. And God is angry. And a society system that does not tame it, we can know what we see. It is very visible to us, even now, across the globe. Women do not understand why the apostles dismissed what they cherish more. You know, this outward arraying of yourself, but that they may keep their body holy and kill the corruptible living system that corrupt the world for God and corrupt the coming generation. Apostle Paul was cautioning women. It is a mystery and it is spiritual. The way a woman array herself in the open. And even in your house, because of the children that will be born and the children that will become next generation. Warish life of a woman is repulsive to God. It was flirting that make Eve to listen to Satan. And the devil said, look at the fruits. And corruption started from there. Ensure that we minimize the level of evil in the world. The level of corruption in the world. But the Christian we have today that would have been the light of the world, our women do not understand how to array themselves moderately. They believe in exposure. They believe in warish life. And that is very repulsive to God. Who is therefore winning? It is the winnings of the serpent called the devil and Satan. Even if you do not understand, now if na born Cain and born who? Abel. Because the womb contaminated corruption. So unholy behavior does not allow God to have a generation that is sanctified. Unholy behavior of a woman. Then to the gate of the barren woman. Barrenness drag women either nearer to God or nearer to other sources. When a barren woman cherishes devotion, she is a devout woman. Her womb, being a devout womb, God uses her womb for his purpose. And like I said, barrenness drag woman to devotion. Let me say, only few women attain to holiness in life. They believe in the sanctity of their body. But majority of women, because of what they think is a good life for them, the life of a warish woman, they do not know that all that they are giving themselves to do are deposited in their womb. They are giving birth to children. The world is not physical as you think. It's 100% spiritual. May God look upon you as a woman than look upon the beauty that you say you are presenting. If you are a Bible man who studied the Bible, if you are a theological student, go and study the Bible. Barrenness in the Holy Bible is never just about the womb. It is about delay that drag the woman into devotion, or about shame, yet it will drive the woman into devotion. Devotion and a promise waiting to be born will be walking in the womb. The woman is foreseen through the support of God or any other deity that her womb will bring forth something. Such women, they surrender to devotion. But may your own devotion be unto the Almighty God, not to other gods. where Satan will exploit your womb. Isaac, Joseph, John, Samuel, they were children born out of devotion. Text that you may read. Genesis chapter 30, verse 22 to 24. Genesis chapter 18, verses 10 to 14. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 10 to 11. And Luke chapter 1, verses 13 to 15. Praise be the name of the Lord. God has a pattern. Before he does something new in the earth, he births it through a barren womb, as we recorded in the Bible. If it is not birthed through a barren womb, it is birthed through a holy woman, a devout woman. Because the womb from the beginning of man upset his plan of human relationship with him. Who is that womb? Eve. Eve is the womb. And the womb is Eve. Today we look at 4 men: Isaac, Samuel, John, and Joseph. All of them are children of promise. All born from impossible wombs. The wombs that are dead. All women devoted to devotion. They search for God to get those children born. Or rather, I would say, God allowed them to go through that barrenness, that they may show themselves devout women before he uses them. God uses their barren wombs to birth his agenda. Number 1, the Isaac that I mentioned, a child of promise fulfilled. Abraham was 100 years. Sarah was 90 years. Humanly impossible. But God said, is anything too hard for the Lord? Because that place he's going into is a sanctified womb. Through dedication. Genesis 18 verse 14. Genesis 21 verse 1 to 2. And the Lord visited Sarah as he had said. And the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived, and Isaac was born. A child of promise. The anchor of waiting. The revelation of a devoted family. Then Samuel, number 2, Samuel. A prophet born by a woman of prayer. 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 10, 11. And she, Anna, was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore, and she vowed a vow. Take note of that. The devotion of the woman. And handed over Samuel to God for use. Anna's barrenness produced Israel's first prophet that began to anoint kings and lead kings. And that Samuel set a standard for righteousness. Before he died, he asked the whole Israel, is there any error you can find with me? A God-fearing child born into the world of men. Number 3, John the Baptist, a son of preparation and a forerunner of Jesus Christ. Luke chapter 1 verse 13. Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard. Devotion. And thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. What was it that God measured? The level of prayer of that family. So, it is a family of sanctification. And he's coming forth with a very strong son. A very strong child. The forerunner of Jesus came from an old womb of Elizabeth. That barren womb. I'm just trying to help you to see what the devotion of a barren woman can bring forth into this world. But one thing you must recognize, the focus, the eye of God that is upon men watches women's behavior. than he watches the man's behavior. Number 4, Joseph, a son of sustenance and a fulfillment of prophecies. Let me tell you something you must know about Joseph. Over 100 years, I think the Bible states about 166 years before Joseph was even born. We knew the story of Rachel. When he was leaving the father, he packed the idol. When a baby never came out of the womb, because Jacob needs a sanctified child. Jacob needs something better. And she was barren because of deviation from what God expects of every woman. Holiness unto the Lord. But we understood that Rachel took another step, which I will show you. But before Joseph was born, God had told Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. How many years? 400 years. Because of the evil done to Joseph, a sanctified child from a sanctified womb, the Israel father and children went into that journey. Because of Joseph, Israel ended up in Egypt. And that was the place that God's prophecy is revealing, that they will spend how many years? 400 years. But because they mismanaged a child born from a barren womb, that is a devout womb, that led them into that captivity. That Moses later helped to remove them. You can go and read that in the book of Genesis chapter 15 verse 13. Now Genesis chapter 30 verses 22 to 24. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her. What does that reveal? Rachel is now dedicated and devoted to seeing God manifest in her womb, where her sin can be forgiven. So the man seek for forgiveness of sin so easily. The woman should seek for the forgiveness, not only of the sin that she has performed, but for the mercy towards her womb, so that she can bring forth the generation that God wants to see. And God hearkened to Rachel and opened her womb through devotion, and she conceived, and she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. God hearkened to her. It's evidence of what? Devotion. Even me speaking to you, I'm a product of a woman. Do you understand? So the women are the generation. So the lifestyle of women determine the generation we will have. So Joseph was born, he will save a nation. Not only nation, he will save nations. But he came through years of Rachel's reproach of barrenness. Barren womb must become prayer devotion place. Because you may not know how Satan catch that womb, or how the enemy make the womb to be barren, or perhaps the Lord want to make use of you as a woman. So the devotion of women should be higher than the devotion of men. Not be the number of women in the church, but the manner and the character that makes their lives.